I need the Jesse Sanchez special. Sorry, I'm streaming though. All right.
We got 10 seconds.
All right, cool.
Oh, thank God Mario didn't hear that. 2 seconds. Happy Thanksgiving.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TV, live TV on whatever app you use to stream it. I think one of our, or several of our social media followers actually watch us on their television device. What do you use to push it out over to your television device? I kind of want to know. Because I've been wanting to do that on some devices as well. I know with the Roku app, you can do that with certain channels. With Apple TV, you can do that with the Periscope TV app if you subscribe to our channel. Just find me at Aaron Michael Sanchez on all social media chat platforms there. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Lots of stuff to be thankful for, if you know what I mean. Today, of course, being the day of many to get together and practice social distancing, I hope. How are you going to celebrate it this day, Jesse?
I'm going to spend a few hours with my girlfriend, and after that, I'll probably just head home.
Nice. Okay. Of course, for those of you tuning in, how are you using your day to get along with your friends and family? Does it really matter what side of the coin they are on in the political sphere? I think not. I think if anything, if you've lost friends and or family members over the whole election process, maybe you should just give them a call and say, I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. Whether you're the ones that technically kind of won or kind of lost, I don't know. There's no decision factor there yet, right, Jesse?
No, there's not. I don't think so. I think the December 20th, or December something, but I'm just going to wait till the dust settles.
Yeah, which I would like to wait to see what are they going to do for coronavirus and the stimulus package. Let's get into things that we really care about. I really don't care about who wins anymore. I just care about what are you going to do for the next 8 months beyond that. And don't tell me it's just a vaccine cure, because no matter what news you're looking at, if you've noticed in the vaccine status, none of them are going to have ready to go for everybody right off the hat. Some are already discussing if there is one that's greenlit, which there are a lot around the world that are being greenlit, by the way, all of a sudden. But which ones are going to be safe, which ones are going to be effective, and which ones are not going to cause any harm to those again? Because you always have that little chance in there, right? Because they tested on what, maybe 100, 150, 180, and they're like, oh, this should be good. And then they use it on the masses, and all of a sudden you start seeing the numbers go high up, right? With other types of symptoms and or, what happened, right? There was one study which said 90% effective, and then all of a sudden they did it and they multiplied it in a different way, and it went down to 76%. I'm like, can you get a consistent number before you release that sort of thing? But of course, frontline workers, those that are on the front line of healthcare and or first responders are going to be among the first, including those that are very, very severely affected by it in the event that it actually works. So there's a lot of questions down the line that none of these things have been answered 100%. And Jesse, I don't know about you. Are you ready to just go ahead? Because they actually did test people on like a poll and seeing how many would actually get a vaccine if it was made available like right here and now. Would you be among the first in line to get that?
I think we should push it more towards the people who are more vulnerable. I just don't want to be 6 years down the line, see a infomercial on TV, like, yeah, if you took the coronavirus during this time and you grew a tail or an extra finger, call now. Yeah, I don't want that to happen to me.
I'm pretty sure at least a finger would be advantageous, though. I asked my mom, what body part would you, like, if you could splice your DNA with any animal, would you want? She said a tail. And I'm like,
what?
I thought I knew my mom, but there you go. She's probably thinking, don't tell people that. But I'm like, what advantage would a tail be? And I'm like, what kind of tail, right? Then you kind of go there, right? Because some people actually do have, I forget what they call it, but they actually do grow. The tailbone actually grows into a bit of a tail, not like full on, but Have you ever seen that? It's technically a DNA genome, which happens in some people, by the way. So I don't make fun of it, but I'm talking about like a full tail. Like, would you want a cat tail? Would you want a dog tail? She goes, so people would know I'm happy. Like, I was like, oh, mom, I love you, but you know what? Thanks for thinking outside the box. That's my mom, people. There you go. Let's see. Social media chat room. What are you guys thinking about? What are you guys talking about? But that's a good question, right? If you had the ability, because I can almost guarantee somebody out there is doing DNA splicing that they're not supposed to. And they're creating a new type of form of species altogether, right? Because you know they're doing it. DNA sequencing, cloning. Just because it's illegal, Jesse, do you think everybody's abiding by that in every single country around the world?
No, I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure there's like a bunker or some type of secret lab somewhere deep underground that's
guaranteed.
Yeah, that's making like centaurs or minotaurs. Who knows?
There's another odd Perry there. So I know the questions that I have with me and my mom. I go, let's talk about DNA sequencing because there's a really good Netflix special. It's a little slow, but I like the science of it. And it's called Biohackers. Have you seen it?
No, that actually sounds pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and it's about a medical student that enters a top German university on a secret mission to uncover a conspiracy linking a family tragedy to a biology professor. And odd story, though, is that a lot of this talks about what they call biohacking. It's a science of optimizing basically your DNA and or the DNA of other things, and then really getting it to the next level, which is actually where a lot of people are going in the world of transmutation of DNA sequencing. So you should check it out. It's really interesting. And I could tell you right now, let's see, here it is. Biohacking, also known as do-it-yourself biology, is an extremely broad and amorphous term that can cover a huge range of activities, from performing science experiments on yeast or other organisms to tracking your own sleep and diet to changing your own biology by pumping a younger person's blood into your veins in the hope that it'll fight aging. That's a real thing. It's called a young blood transfusion. The type of biohackers currently gaining the most notoriety are the ones who experiment outside of traditional lab spaces and institutions on their own bodies with the hope of boosting their physical and cognitive performance. They form one branch of transhumanism, a movement that holds that human beings can and should use technology to augment and evolve our species. Some biohackers have science PhDs, others are complete amateurs, and their ways of trying to hack biology are as diverse as they are. This is a real thing, Jesse. We got to be careful out there. It says this: it can be tricky to understand the different types of hacks, what differentiates them from traditional medicine, and how safe or legal they are. But biohacking is in several of the series on Netflix. One's called Unnatural Selection. And there's a lot of different types of biohacking, but it's an interesting one. It's not for the faint of heart for those that don't understand some of the way these things work, but gene sequencing and finding out what a gene does is pretty interesting. So my mom and I had this interesting conversation because I showed her a couple of the episodes. She goes, okay, that's kind of interesting. She was a little bored for the first couple of episodes, but once you get into like the 5th episode of this show, then we can talk, because then you will understand where the world is going, where it could be a very scary and a really good thing, because obviously you can have the ability if you understand what's a certain DNA sequencing to say, okay, where, for example, perfect example, coronavirus, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the question of the day. Was it created in a lab and or somewhere and then released to the general population? Who knows, right? I heard that there was a study done on that 30% of people say they feel that that's the way it was. And then you had some scientists go, well, that's just conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. I go, well, hey, it's not unheard of. It's happened before. But whether it is or isn't, you got to imagine there are certain labs that are experimenting for quite some time with organisms and or realizing that they have these things locked away in a bunker somewhere. And sometimes the vaccines, right?
Yep.
So this particular show actually discusses that. If there's a show that you really like, other than the one I just mentioned, feel free to share it in social media. Let us know what it's about and why you think people should watch it. But Biohackers, go check it out. at least watch the first 4 or 5 episodes and then see if you get a little smarter after watching it. Because there's some things that get your mind thinking, okay, I can see, for example, I think in one of them, they biohack a plant to be able to glow in the dark. And then in one, there's a mouse, which is like glow in the dark mouse. But they've actually done this. A lot of this isn't fiction. It's actually truth. Just because they can, though, doesn't mean they should. That's the better question, right? Just because you could create dinosaurs doesn't mean you should, right, Jesse?
Yeah, we've all seen Jurassic Park. We all know where this goes. They get out, they eat people. No.
Yeah, so there you go. And you can't let like rogue people start sequencing things, and then because you can't trust that they're going to do the right thing with it, right? Exactly. So you got that. And then you got viruses that are constantly getting out of control. So anyway, back to the reason why we talked about. My mom says, well, I think a tail would be advantageous. I was thinking like, I don't know, like maybe like being able to grow an extra arm or hand, although that would look weird, right? But maybe you could tuck it down at times, but then when you needed to, you could be like, you could get it tucked down. Then, I mean, think about it. Think of all the things you could accomplish with 3 extra arms. Like in addition to your 2 arms, right? Just tuck them back. Like, you have or wings, better yet, wings, grow angel wings, right? And then you could like what was that Archangel from Marvel?
That would be cool, but he was special because his bones were hollow. I don't think a pair of wings would support our weight.
Well, it depends how big they are, but yeah, they'd have to be massive, right, in order to be able to get off the ground. But I got ideas for days, which none of I hope they actually make happen because I don't think we're ready for that. But there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. What would you, if you could, just out of curiosity, if they could grow it in a lab, they'd be like, okay, we now are giving you this ability, one ability for the day and or the week, because then they'd be like, okay, it's going to disappear because if everybody has it, we're going to create. That's a problem. I think with so many of these like creations, the military are always the first on the scene to be like, how can we weaponize that, right? So right? Nothing out there is ever sacred or just like for the goodness of man. It's always like, how can we weaponize that? You're like, can we stop with that for once and for all? Seriously, I think we would be so much more advanced. I'm not going to lie here. I almost think like Elon Musk going to Mars isn't necessarily a bad idea, but you got to have like no war on Mars. You know what I mean? I think Mars got to the point that it got because of a war. We probably came from that planet back to Earth, and now we're going back and forth just to, I don't know. Did you hear China went to the moon again to get rocks?
Did they? Interesting. I thought we're not allowed on the moon anymore because of the moon people.
I don't know, but I do know this. We got to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right. For those of you tuning in, we appreciate you. Let's look at the comments, and hopefully you got a lot of comments. Keep the comments coming in. They get us ahead of the game here. Let's see. Lance Mitchell says, happy Thanksgiving. Hello. Maria says, good morning. Wishing you a safe and happy American Thanksgiving for my family and to you and your loved ones. Stay safe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Maria. They have in Canada. They have their own Thanksgiving already ahead of time, right? They already had it. That's why she says.
It was last month, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's why she says happy American Thanksgiving, which is funny when you think about it like that, right? You're like, oh yeah, that's right. Olga watches on Chromecast. I don't know how that works. There's so many different ways to watch programming nowadays, right, Jesse?
Yeah, there is. There's way too many.
Ooh. But I have to say, I think we've been ahead of the game. I almost want to throw our hand into the fire there, because the way we stream and the way we've streamed, now all of the outlets do that, right? All of the news broadcasters. I don't know if you've seen local news as of late, but you might have 2 or 3 in like Good Morning America. If you watch that, like the after episode, they like broadcast for another 3 hours. And I've been watching ABC channel, ABC News Go or something like that. I don't know. And on the Roku device, right? And every one of the reporters are virtual. I'm like, They're doing it in their living room. That's so cool. But we've been doing that for quite some time. Katya Wunderland says, good morning, evening, everyone. Katya, we appreciate you. I know your day's already gone, huh? Our day's just beginning. Lance Mitchell says ATT. So he's probably watching via the ATT app. Awesome. Stephanie says, Happy Gilmore, the merrier, and a happy Thanksgiving for today's awesome busy day ahead. I think she stays busy just by staying positive. Seriously, right?
Staying positive is key.
Lance says, good morning, Jesus. Have a great Thanksgiving with your girlfriend.
Oh, I will.
I think he was talking about Jesus. No. It's just, you ever do that where they go, in Jesus' name? You're like, you're welcome. Sorry, what?
No, I don't do that.
When in your mind, you probably will now. You're like, maybe. I bless you. Sorry. I think Jesus would be happy you have his name. Don't you think? I think he would. I think he'd be like,
I think he would.
Just keep practicing my love, Jesus. That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, and LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. I know some of you are probably thinking he's a little zany today. I have to be, man, because I got no family. I got my mom. She doesn't do Thanksgiving. And I'm getting no turkey today. So if you got turkey out there, enjoy it. And enjoy an additional piece for me, okay? Seriously. For those of you tuning in, Jesse, you're going to get some, at least for me, right? Will you eat some in my honor? Just take a picture and be like, I wish you were here.
Yes, I'll take a picture and I'll tag you in it and be like, wish you were here.
Seriously. I wish I could just I don't know. I just need a beer or something. I need to go somewhere where they got something because I just feel so claustrophobic, stuck in the house all day long, each and every day. We've been really social distancing for the last it's been a couple of weeks actually. But I got to keep my mom safe, so there's that. All right, people. Speaking of safe, are you staying safe out there? We want to know about it, whether you are or are not. What are your real plans? Okay, so for those of you tuning in, obviously the question of the day is, how do you practice social distancing with 8 people all at once? Jesse, any tips out there?
I have no idea because I am not in a group bigger than 4, so not quite sure.
Smart man. Because the laws of average is the moment you get over 15, right? The laws of average of the people that are starting to get sick are significant enough that if you have over 15, at least one person out of 15 is going to have coronavirus.
Right.
Because if you just think about it, and then it's always the one typically that throws caution to the wind. A, they don't wash their hands. B, they don't wear a face mask. And C, they're just like, whatever, I'm going to be fine. It's that person in the family. So you got to go single that out. You ever see certain horror films where you're like, okay, who's the one going to open the door to the zany zombie out here? Who's going to be that guy? Right, Jesse? That's not you.
No. If anything, if I see something scary, you'll see an after image of me. I'll be running so fast. I'll run through a wall like the Kool-Aid man.
Now, see, I don't know if I want you on my team because I would want the ones ready to bunker down with the hatchet, the axes, the ones that no, because then if you run out, then you gave an opening to more zombies to come in. You see, well, I can't trust you, Jesse.
That's if I got a safe route, but no, if I have to fight, no, I'm going to fight.
No, Jesse, that was you, every man for himself mentality. I cannot have you on my team, Jesse. Okay, seriously. If I had a team together, I would talk to Jesse ahead of time, go, look, we are stronger together than alone. That's number one, right? Tell me that's not true. Right, Jesse?
Well, actually, no. The number one thing is always have someone on your team that is slower than you. Get it?
You mean throw them to the zombie masses? That's terrible. You're like, get him. He's the slowest one. You're like, I'm trying to get a head start. No, Jesse. No, you're thinking about it all wrong. Okay, look. Oh my God. If I could put a team together, the A team. Okay, all right. Here's the team that I would put together: the smart one, the super smart one, the absolutely smart one, the tough one, the one who takes them out, right? And then every other person that you got to save in that will listen, because then there's those people that they love to follow, but they've always followed the dumb guy in the room, right? There's always that one in a movie that goes, no, we can do it ourselves, blah, blah, blah. There was a movie. What was it? Oh, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it with Sandra Bullock. Did you see that? What was it?
Which one?
The one, oh, people know what I'm talking about. It was, I finally got around to it, and that was a creepy movie.
The Bird Box movie?
Yeah. Did you see it?
No, I have not seen it yet.
Oh, you should see it. It's actually not that bad. It's totally your type of thing. And you'll think of which one character you are in that. You'll get frustrated with like 5 of them. But yeah, Bird Box. If you haven't seen that, I do recommend it. I don't like it's more suspense and thriller than necessarily horror, in my opinion. But yeah, I know they made a lot of fun like moments of it, like, you know, she can't open her eyes, blah blah blah. But if you watch it from beginning to end, you're going to start saying, yep, that's the person who would get coronavirus, right? There's certain mentalities and certain people that you trust, but they'll turn on a dime on you. It's like that. So go watch it, Bird Box. There, I made several recommendations of things you should see. I think there you go. Let's go to social media chat room, see what people are recommending over there. Let's see. We got Kajushka free tag saying good morning and evening for all. Let us know where you're tuning in from, Kajushka. Let's see. I'm looking at some others. Yeah, Maria says Bird Box was awesome. And there you go. Oh, Maria says 2 of Barbara Streisand's dogs, Miss Violet and Miss Scarlet, are clones. You see that? You see? Who knew?
Clones of what's the original dog? Was it like an old pet of hers?
I think so. Yeah. That's when you can't let you, but then you wonder, right? Is the brain a clone? Not really, right? I think, right? Like twins. You have twins, doesn't mean that you can the memories, so the body's a clone, but is the behavior a clone? I think I got questions on that. Right. So there you go. All right, people, we got to take another break. Look, it's the day of feasting, so I feel like not going into news and just having fun with you all. So let me know what you think in social media, chat room. You got an idea for a special movie and or thing or a VR device? Ooh, I'm getting that around the corner. Can't wait to share that with every one of you. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after these messages. Stay tuned. Seriously, Jesse, we need to come up with a VR device that determines who's a smart person in the room.
They should make like a zombie survival game.
Jesse, you would be the first one to make a deal with the opponent, wouldn't you?
Well, wait, it depends on the situation. What do you mean?
Oh, it shouldn't depend. So, like, okay, for example, if there was a zombie leader and the zombie leader says, hey, Jesse, I'm going to make you a deal. Give me the rest and I'll let you out. You and one other person. You ready to make the deal?
No, because I can't trust zombies. Can't trust them.
For some reason, that doesn't feel very sincere there, Jesse. You know what? I would say, I can't cuss because I can't let that person out. But the reality is, you never make a deal with the opposite side that's meant to harm your people. Because you know the moment they're gonna renege on their deal. You know it, Jesse.
They always do.
They always do. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can I renege on the deal before they renege on the deal? But they already know you're going to renege on the deal because you reneged on your own people. So they're going to take you out first anyway because they can't trust you anyway.
No, see, my plan would be, how can I lure them into think them I'm traitoring on my people, but I'm actually luring them into a trap.
That's called double agent side or triple agent side, because you still don't know which side Jesse's on. You see what I'm saying? Oh, Jesse, we got to work on you. Seriously. Never trust the evildoer, ever. Never. You just can't. They'll turn on you the moment they can. Every time. Anyway, it's true. You come on, everybody knows that.
That is true.
People try to hedge their bets and go, well, I think government does that, right? Throughout history, you have certain alliances of certain people of certain nations that kind of go, yeah, I know he's a bad guy, but I'll take it for all he's got until I take him out. Remember, that was a Star Wars theme, right?
Was it?
Yeah, at the very end, he's like, I could take out the Emperor. We could rule together. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Everyone's like, no, but that guy's the really evil one. I'll just be somewhat evil, not fully evil. Right?
Right? It's like, I'll be a little evil, not full on evil, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Until the dark side takes hold of me and causes me to do this. Oh, man. Where's my head at right now? I apologize, people. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Maria posted the New York Times Barbra Streisand clone dogs. Yeah. It's a thing. Aw, Rosalie says, oh, I forgot it was Thursday, running in late. Thought it was actually Saturday because of the day off. Good morning. Good morning, Rosalie. Good to have you with us.
2 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM, joining our live stream audience, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, however you're tuning in. We appreciate you. Even if you're the average listener, just listening, not commenting, that's okay. Because there are some things that I watch online that I just don't want people to know I'm there. So I'm that person. Are you that way with any of the other devices, or do you ever watch anything else like live on social media, Jesse?
No, I don't watch too many things live on social media.
Yeah, I like to watch some broadcasts, and I like to chime in every now and then. But then they see my name, I go, darn it. So there you go. But there it is. All right, people, what are you saying social media? How are you especially thankful for today, right? Thankful for today, this week, and maybe the month, maybe for people in your life that are still alive and well. I saw some broadcasts. It was so sad yesterday. I saw of a teenager, I think 3 teenagers that lost their life due to COVID-19, and just the families. And I thought, although some families are going to be very happy, there's going to be a lot more families very sad and mad and angry right now, right? I saw one who, an older lady at the age of 55, had terrible dementia. And because she's in a nursing home, her husband of many years, he's still there for her no matter what. Yeah. Suffering because of COVID-19, because he can't come close to her, right? At all. He has to maintain 6 feet away. And I'm like, well, why don't you just move them outside, spray them down or UV them down or something? There's got to be a thing. Or put on one of those special suits on both. I mean, there's got to be ways to let people. They said only if they're direly dying, then you can visit them. And I thought, somebody's not thinking outside the box. How difficult is it to go get one of those suits on and put suits on both of them, right?
Yeah, right.
Or at least on one of them, So I think they're just not thinking straight. I really do. Social media chat room is alive and well. Big shout out to Maria, Rosalie, and Katya Wunderland, Kajushka, Olga. Thank you. Lance tuning in. Thank you. However you're tuning in, we appreciate you. Let me go over into a bit of news you can use here. And I'm going to go to this one on truths and myths about tryptophan, why it's so healthy for you. Jesse, what is tryptophan and why do you need it?
Tryptophan. If I go by the name of the thing, I'm assuming it's preventing me from tripping, but I am probably just shooting at empty air. But what is it for?
Actually, a little bit too much of tryptophan probably can help you trip, actually. So there you go. It's one of 9 essential amino acids that's essential to a healthy diet. It's found in foods like chicken, turkey, eggs, peanuts, and dairy. Did you know that? Your body uses tryptophan to make melatonin and serotonin, both of which can make you feel drowsy. Feeling tired immediately after eating a large meal is not due to tryptophan. It actually takes about 5 hours for your body to produce serotonin after consuming tryptophan. Although turkey is closely associated with tryptophan, it actually contains less tryptophan than chicken. Did you know that, Jesse?
No, I did not.
Yeah, tryptophan is a common scapegoat for Thanksgiving sleepiness due to its widely reported presence in turkey. The compound's much more than a holiday punchline, though. It's essential to your good health year-round. It's one of the... No, I already read that. But anyway, you need it. How your body uses tryptophan. Check it out. You'll be the smart person in the room, right? Whenever somebody says, "Oh, the tryptophan's making me tired," you're like, "It's all in your head," because it partially is, right? Because tryptophan again needs 5 hours, and then it's just called you over 8, and your body's like, "I'm feeling good," right? Melatonin is a hormone that helps regulate the sleep-wake cycle. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps control mood and the onset of sleep. Niacin, which is the liver utilizes tryptophan to make niacin, or B3, which helps regulate metabolism and keeps cells healthy. Tryptophan is important for infants in order for their brains to develop a sleep-wake cycle. There are two types of tryptophan compounds, L-tryptophan and D-tryptophan. Cutler says to think of them as mirror images of each other, just like your hands. The I and D stand for levo and dextro, medical designations for basically left and right. Now, according to this, I'm going to scroll down because there's a lot of information here I know you're going to be bored on. Let me go to the benefits of tryptophan, okay? There's a lot that still needs to be learned, but scientists know that it's important for everyone, especially infants. An average varied diet should include adequate tryptophan to supply the body's basic needs. Scientists are studying whether tryptophan supplements can be used to treat mental illnesses, including depression and anxiety, and they found that tryptophan supplements may improve attention and memory. Hey, we need a little bit more of that for those that are suffering in these areas, right, Jesse?
Right? Let me get a bunch of that tryptophan stuff.
Yeah, bring it on. And then it talks about depression. So according to this, in depression, sorry, I lost the art. There it is. Associated with this, it's usually associated with low levels of serotonin. A 2014 study put 25 healthy young adults on either a high tryptophan or low tryptophan diet for 4 days, switching to the alternate diet after a 2-week period after eating more tryptophan. They had lower symptoms of depression and anxiety. Cutler cautioned that scientists do not fully understand the impact of tryptophan, its possible benefits for mental health. There is no FDA approval of tryptophan for any of these indications. But hey, if you want some more tryptophan in your body, poultry like turkey and chicken obviously have it. Eggs, peanuts, dairy like milk, soy like soy milk, and beans. So there you go. There's some interesting information. Now, of course, there's risks of too much tryptophan. In rare cases, consuming too much through manufactured supplements have been associated with EMS, which is a disorder that affects the body's organs and can cause pain and weakness. So certain supplements are banned by the FDA from 1990 to 2005. Although the supplements are for sale again, have not been linked to any new instances, they should be used with caution. Again, anything of any particular vitamin and or even healthy thing can be a terrible situation for anybody. So don't take this as a, hey, I got to up my dosage of tryptophan. But I think it's an interesting study that needs to be, studied a little bit more. What do you think there, Jesse?
Yeah, it actually sounds pretty interesting. I've never even heard of this before, so it'd be interesting to see what comes out of it.
So there you go. When you meet up with your tryptophan people, which all say, oh, it's the tryptophan making me tired, you go, well, technically, don't be that guy in the room. Just say, did you know tryptophan's actually good for depression? And then have them look up the story, and then, you can talk about that. And then go watch Biohackers and see, like, what would I do to make it awesome and amazing? But there you go. All right. And social media chat room, what are you guys talking about? Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to go to this one. Maria says, I like to think I could survive zombies. I lived on the streets for a few years, sad to say, fending for myself without help. And if you could do that, trust me, you're on the team, right, Jesse?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
All right. And then there's this. Let's see. Older woman. What? No. Oh, Rosalie says, Aaron, did you just say older woman, 55? Ouch. No. Okay, wait, hold on.
No
For
comment.
a 55-year-old woman to have, I should bring up the article and then let you understand it. But for a 55-year-old woman to have dementia, that's way too young. That's like, you expect that at what? Older ages, right? They were only in their mid-50s. And yeah, older than me, because I'm 40, going on 43. So, older than me. Don't take it offense. I actually, my first wife was actually 10 years older than me. Actually, 11 years older than me, I think. Yeah. I was 19. She was 30. So I got nothing against, age. But there you go. And then my mom married a guy younger than her by 4 years. So there you go. So age is just a number, people. Okay. All right. There you go. That should make somebody feel good out there, right? All right, people, I love you. I will take a quick break here. Hopefully I don't offend anybody else, but if I do, I'm sorry. All right, well, we'll see you around the corner. Be right back right after these messages. So I'm understanding that a lot of people are trying to find love amidst coronavirus, right? And I saw an article on how people are trying to do virtual dating more often than not. Whatever floats your boat, right? But quick question out of the gate, since we're talking about age, Jesse, how young is too young?
For what?
Age, like, to go on a date.
Oh, I don't know. Good question. If you're able to have a job, you're able to go on a date.
What is age appropriate dating? Does it matter? Do people care? I don't know.
Oh, age appropriate dating. What is age appropriate dating?
It's a thing. It's actually, and you know what? I almost agree with it. I almost do actually. There was where was it at? There was a It was I want to say the calculation is half your age plus 7. I think that's the number, like how young you should go. Or maybe that's too young. Hold on, let me think here. So if I'm 43, okay, let me round it up. 20, yeah, so 20, half my age, plus 7, so 27. But since I'm a little older, like 28, 29 would probably be the youngest I'd want to go, right?
Sounds about right.
And or older. I don't know if you could flip that, right? Not double your age, because 40, now you're 80 plus. Oh man, the 8 and the 90-year-old's like, what? I thought I had a chance. I'm sorry. What? I'm just saying. Well, then for them it would be half their age, right? So let's say an 80-year-old, half their age, 40 plus 7, that's 47. I think the math gets skewed at a certain age. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think at a certain age you're just gonna want to stop counting numbers.
I think if we come out with this cool miracle cream and we can all like age like appropriate back to like an age, what age do you think would be a good age to stay at if there was like a cream that did that for you?
Ooh, I'd want to stay probably in my 30s.
I think mid 30s would be about right?
Yeah,
because you don't want to look too young, because then everybody looks down at you, right? But like a good age, like 35, I think.
That's a good age.
Let us know on social media what age you think. Like if you had like a special cream, it's hard for the younger ones to know, but like, if you got a certain age, like, okay, what age do you want to stay at physically? But you could be like 108. Nobody would know, right? I think the science is already there, to be honest. Somebody's already cooked it up in the lab.
We have 10 seconds.
All right. Thanks, Jesse. I know I'm going completely off the track when it comes to futuristic thinking, but I've been doing some cool research that you guys got
2 seconds.
You got to start thinking about. That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMT, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live. Appreciate each and every one of you. Interesting conversation happening in social media. We appreciate you. The question of the day is, if they had this really cool miracle cream, look, stem cells, whether you love them or hate them, are a thing. Okay. Now, do I disagree that certain stem cells shouldn't be harvested, especially when it comes from embryos? I do disagree with that. I don't think it should be done. Some countries actually have been experimenting with that for quite some time. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. It's not fake news. It's a reality. But there's other ways to get stem cells. Even some actually. I remember reading an article. It's been some time since I've read it, but that in the placenta, like you want to save that because there's certain stem cells that you could harvest from that. Technically, instead of throwing it away, you can actually get the stem cells from that. So the placenta, if you're, pregnant and or you're going to have a baby, save the placenta. Just ask them about that, okay? Because I think the science of it is pretty cool because it's to you and to your baby, and there's a use for it. Sometimes people are like, oh yeah, just cut that off and discard it. No. The science, actually, you can find stem cells in the placenta. So there you go. It sounds ridiculous, but it's a thing, okay? But look, however you think about it, think about like the future. How cool would it be if you were able to take certain stem cells from like the placenta, right, and grow a new ear, right? Because you lose your ear, or there's science behind the ear of listening and or hearing, which oddly enough, Facebook actually studies the science of that. You guys got to go check it out. Seriously, if you have time, like an hour and a half, go watch Facebook Connect. You're gonna love me for it. Go look at the keynote address. Mark Zuckerberg and his entire team, some of the stuff that they're doing and or like investigating on spatial sound and how to make it possible for you to hear somebody across the room from you sound like almost like in your ear. I do think there's going to come a time that there's going to be like a special earbud which allows you to listen to people in a very noisy environment, mute everybody, but be able to hear the three people around you. They're already investigating how people hear sound. There's somebody who's been deaf since I think the age of 8, and she heads up this team on sound and spatial sound, and also like, is there an implant that can help you, or a hearing aid that can help you hear sound depending on your levels of sound. There's so much cool technology out there, but none of us focus on it because we're so consumed with coronavirus and or, oh man, are we going to get over this? And I say we are, but let's look at the science that is either not talked about and or really gets your mind flowing in such a way that you go, you know what? We've got a lot of like to live for. We really do. We just need people on the same page on this page of moving forward and, doing so smart, not stupid. Because then there's technologies that are like ahead of the curve, but could cause a lot of problems. Right, Jesse? I can think of 5 right now, especially including AI, that I just don't want to go down that path just yet.
Yeah, no, let's not do AI yet.
All right. So the question of the day is, if you could have a special cream that you could apply to your face, right, that actually reverse the aging process and or your body, maybe it's the whole body, right? So all the wrinkles that you would normally have, at what age is the age appropriate age that you think you would like to kind of maintain throughout life? You could be like 108, but you look this age. So we asked this question of our social media chat room, and let's see what people say. And I think, again, some people don't understand the question entirely, but here we go. Because, of course, people think, well, at a certain age, they were happiest, right? Now, that's different than what age do you want to look like, but let's see. Rosalie says this here. I tell my boys they cannot date till they get married because my oldest, who is 33, now became a dad at 16. Ooh. Oh, yeah, that's difficult. Let's see. But I'm sure he's done right by the little one, right? Or little ones. I don't know how many, because I've met a lot of young mothers and young fathers out there, which, it's difficult for anybody at that age. It really is. But, hopefully the family is helping out and taking care of the kids as well. Gordon says 34. He'd like to be 34. Says I'm 54 currently. Let's see. Maria says, I would love to be 24 again. And then Gordon says 24 is too young. And Olga says, I would definitely like to stay 35. The best. Rosalie says, I want to be 28. And Algenia says, Miss Texas Algenia, sitting at Auntie's house, eating lunch, tuning in at age 18. All right. Maria says, I started a new journey in life at age 24, though, and I look younger than my age, so I'm fine. No one can guess my age. And that's always nice. That's nice when people can't guess your age. I had the opposite problem, Jesse, growing up. I always looked older than my age. So when I was out with my friends who were usually like 10 or 12 years older than me, I'd hang around those. So I'd be like 12 or 13. And they were like 20, 22, 25, right? So by the age of 15, when they ordered a drink, I would try it and just say, oh, I'll have a beer as well. And the person would be like, okay. And they wouldn't even check because I looked older. Plus I was with a bunch of older people around me, right? So I had the opposite problem. I looked older than my age until I was like mid. Actually, I don't even know. Do I still look older than my age? I don't know. I've hoped I've evened out a little. But that was my problem. I looked always older and acted older than my age, a little bit too much so. So I had to like soften up and just be like, by the age of mid 20s, I was more like goofy than not because I'm like, I was too serious as a teenager. I was like the adult in the room. And you don't like the adult in the room, right? When you're that age.
Yeah.
So there you go. But you look young for your age. I've always thought Jesse was younger than he was. Remember that, Jesse?
Yeah. I think I told you my age and you're like, what? Yeah.
So Jesse's got the youth on his side. You got good DNA strands in you, which I think a lot of it is DNA, and then sun blotchiness, right? If you've done a lot of like sunbathing, oh boy, does that take out all the goodness in your skin. And then you have to keep hydrated. But some people and certain ethnicities actually have something in their body already that slows the process down, right? There's a term. I'm going to use it. Black don't crack. You know why? Black love to use that. What? They say it all the time. Black don't crack. I'm like, trust me, I get it, right? You ever try to tell the age of certain black people that are like, they look young. You're like, what do you have in your body that makes you that way, right? And so there you go. There's and certain Korean as well keep very youthful. If you don't check out certain Korean face mask like routines, oh man, they just hydrate and hydrate. And they keep looking young all the time. for a reason, by the way. But go check out some of their stuff. Korea has, second to none, the best skincare regimen ever. I remember meeting an esthetician, and she told me I always watch what Koreans are doing because they're ahead in that science. Granted, some of the science actually whitens your skin even more so because they feel more like pale skin version seems more like, because over there it's more like kind of elitist, but whatever, I don't care. My point is this: here or in European countries, to be tanned makes you look all that, right? But back in the day, way back in the day, in medieval times, if you had a tan face, you were poor because you were always in the sun, right? So it's just a matter of perspective. It really is. But there you go. There's some science that you guys could use out there. Let's see. Mario says, my mom doesn't look her age either. I'm so blessed to have her DNA. And it does. Oftentimes it's effective with the DNA strand. So again, biohacking, it's a thing. Let's see. Rosalie says, finally turning his life around now, though. So positive attitude now. He's now working towards baptism. Good for him. She's talking about her son who's mid 30s, but there you go. So there you go. And then Katya Vanderland from Switzerland says, there are good times at every age. I like that, Katya. Very good perspective there. And I say this, doesn't matter what's on the outside packaging. It's what matters in your brain, right? Keep yourself young, thoughtful, and always experiencing life differently, right? And what I mean by that is this, Jesse, just out of curiosity, what do you or your mom do to help invigorate her brain mind? Because I've met your mom once, and she is just like a young, fun-loving spirit. What does she do regularly that keeps her that way? Because she's just, she could be a little aggressive, I could tell. like don't cross her. She'll hit you on the backside, right?
Yeah, honestly, when she moves quick, I flinch because I keep thinking that she's gonna hit me in the back of the head, and that's just like if she comes towards me too quickly, I'll flinch. But no, she's good. She's funny. She's a bingo head. She loves playing bingo.
And see, I used to love playing bingo at the age of 8. So there you go. But my point is this: whatever you do, make sure that it invigorates the mind and keeps the mind positive, right? And if you have somebody that's up in years, whatever years, we'll say 98, okay? 98, pretty up in years. There are certain people that live past, I think the oldest is like 108 or 110, I don't remember. But the science is there to be able to prolong life. The question is, are you going to be able to enjoy it, right? This dementia patient or Alzheimer's patient that I saw really went downhill so fast, and it was so sad to see this. And her husband, so loyal all the way through it all. And I thought, now that's the type of love I wish I had in my life, right? That type of person that when you take an oath, and you take an oath of for better or for worse, through sickness and or, what is it? Sickness and or health, in good times and or bad times. Is there somebody like that out there for you? That's the question I had for myself, because I think about that. When you think of somebody that you love and, you're just dating them, obviously it gets to the point of, if you both were 98, will you, and you're both alive, and one of you suffers in that way, will the other person still be there in your life to take care of you? And I think that's a question that some people don't ask themselves all too often when they are dating and or married, and then they just give up in the middle of it when times get hard, because not understanding things can get even worse. But who will always be that person in your corner? It's usually that one true love, or usually it's one true love that will always be there no matter what, right? Agree or disagree? I don't know what some are thinking, but if you have that person in your life, I say you're ahead of the game. If you don't have that person in your life, I say not too late. It's not too late. But some people are in each other's lives, and I look at the older generation, because the older generation, I feel, got it right more than those of us that are younger in age, right? So many, and I had this discussion with my mom as well. My mom, very loyal, and she just doesn't get the mentality of the youth of today. And honestly, I can't blame her, but I understand why. With social media and how easy it is to meet people online and be able to all of a sudden, fantasize of other people. You see their shirts off and such. You're like, hey, so it makes people kind of go, hey, you know what? They're looking good over there. Instead of valuing what is most important in life, loyalty, and somebody always in your corner that you get old with, right? Somebody that you can always depend on to be there in the event that you're the sick one, and or the flip side, if they're the sick one and now they need your help. Sometimes life isn't always easy. And during coronavirus, I think a lot of people are realizing who their true friends are and who their true people are in their lives. Be that true person in your friends and or in your kids' life and or in your parents' life and or be that true person that is loyal throughout it all. Because this world is it's so sad. I saw one broadcast which talked about a parent losing their youth, and they said that they couldn't see their youth and they had to FaceTime them, so they couldn't be there in their dying hours. I thought, what a way to go. If you're dying, you want your friends and or people that you love there at your bedside, not through an app alone. We're at a difficult time right now. If you're going to be thankful for anything, be thankful for the gift of life, be thankful for the people in your life, and be thankful to those that will be there no matter what. You know who they are. Give them a certain amount of respect and love and let them know that you appreciate them this day. All right, people, I'm out of time. That's the time here on the morning show. I'll stay on a little bit longer. If you want to follow me, Aaron Michael Sanchez, right there on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you can find me, and chat it in a little about what you think or are thankful for or wanted to discuss, and we'll keep that going for just a few more minutes. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Get through today and practice social distancing, okay? If you got to go outside, be outside and experience fun. And if you're in the snow, then, wear face masks. All right, people. Make it a great day. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, for the rest of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Let's see what the chat room is at over there. And let's see. Gordon says, great show. Glad to have you with us, Gordon. Let us know. Where are you tuning in from? Maria says, we all need that someone. I call a few vets once a month, tell them I am here for them, and thank them for the service they did and hear their stories. You see, that's appreciative. There you go. Let's see. Jesse says, my face changes dramatically when I shave my beard off. He does. He looks super young when he's just like, and I tell him, man, enjoy it while you got it, right? Enjoy it while you got it. Eugenia says, my grandmother was 106. Italian mother. Okay. Let's see. Or maybe she's talking about something else. All right. I'm going to go back to this comment. My mom doesn't look her age. I am so blessed to have her DNA. Now, whether you have the good DNA or not good DNA, right? All of us still have to remember at the very end of it all, you got to think about your age in your mind, right? So there's certain things to help stimulate the brain. And I'm going to look up how to stimulate the brain against Alzheimer's, okay? Because those that have to undergo this, it's difficult. It really is. Here's an article, a circuit view of deep brain stimulation in Alzheimer's disease and the possible mechanisms. All right. So this is a very scientific article. It's a little too scientific for the majority. You guys are going to be bored. But here's the reality. Look, biohacking, okay? Like I said, biohacking is a thing. Not always done in the best way, but there are universities currently studying the genome, the human genome, right? Which I say, good job, because somebody's going to study it anyway. But let me go back to what is biohacking, and then you can agree to disagree there. And this is according to Vox.com. I didn't get too much into it because I didn't want people to go, what is he trying to propagate? I'm just trying to propagate safety, and to somebody that's doing it, a little bit of guidelines. And it's this. Let's see. biohacking comes down to something we can all relate to, the desire to feel better and to see how far we can push the human body. That desire comes in a range of flavors. Some people just don't want to be sick anymore, right? Others want to become as smart and strong as they can. An even more ambitious crowd want to be as smart and strong as possible for as long as possible. In other words, they want to radically extend their lifespan. Back to life, right? These goals have a way of escalating, though. Once you've determined that there are concrete hacks you can use by yourself right now to go from sick to healthy or healthy to enhanced, you start to think, well, why stop there? Why not shoot for peak performance? Why not try to live forever? What starts as a simple wish to be free from pain can snowball into self-improvement on steroids. Now, Asprey, who was in his 40s, he got into biohacking because he was unwell. He hit age 30. He was diagnosed with high risk of stroke and heart attack, suffered from cognitive dysfunction, and weighed 300 pounds. He said, quote, I just wanted to control my own biology because I was tired of being in pain and having mood swings. Now that he feels healthier, he wants to slow the normal aging process and optimize every part of his biology. He says, I don't want to be just healthy. That's average. I want to perform. That's daring to be above average. Instead of how do I achieve health, it's how do I kick more ass. Zahner, who's a biohacker, once injected himself with CRISPR DNA. And by the way, go do the research on biohacking and you'll see it's a science. This is not sci-fi. Has also had health problems for years, and some of his biohacking pursuits have been explicit attempts to cure himself. He's also motivated in large part by frustration. Like other biohackers with an anti-establishment streak, he's irritated by federal officials' purported sluggishness in greenlighting all sorts of medical treatments. In the U.S., it could take 10 years for a new drug to be developed and approved for people with serious health conditions. That wait time can feel cruelly long. Zahner claims that's part of why he wants to democratize science and empower people to experiment on themselves. I disagree with that. Whoa. Do not experiment on yourself. Because if you got the smart brain and you experiment on yourself, guess what? Right? But then don't go out there getting homeless people and then start an experiment on them. I believe people are doing that right now. Let's see. He admits that some of his stunts have been purposely provocative, and he says, I do ridiculous stuff also. I'm sure my motives are not 100% pure all the time. The biohacking community gives people a chance to explore unconventional ideas in a non-hierarchical setting and to refashion the feeling of being outside the norm into a cool identity. Biohackers congregate in dedicated online networks and Slack and WhatsApp groups. And like there's one called We Fast, and they are for intermittent fasters. They run experiments and take classes at hack labs, improvised laboratories that are open to the public, and attend one of the dozens of biohacking conferences put on each year. This is a real thing, people. I'm not making this up. Now, how much is backed by scientific research? Well, a lot of it, actually. There's those that are true, and then there are those that take it upon themselves to do it. So this is why I say for people that are professional and or doing this, it's going to happen one way or the other. Okay. The science is easily out there. So you got to at least try to do the right thing and be ahead of the curve, right? You can't stop it because the science is already out there. But you got to ask, if you're the thinking person in the room and you're doing this, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Think about a mouse that turns neon green. Looks cool. How is that bad for the environment? Terribly bad. Imagine that little mouse getting out and all of a sudden populating that in a bunch of other rats and or other species, and now all of a sudden nobody's like regular, they're luminescent. Well, how can that be a problem? Well, it's easier to chomp down on that mouse now because he can't hide. You understand? Just because you could doesn't mean you should. But then some test on certain animals, and then they go, okay, well, let's kill them anyway. So now you look, there's so many levels of wrong that aren't right that I disagree with. But there's some really cool things that can be done and are being done, and we shall learn from them and make them available to people, right? The science is there for us to actually age significantly opposite with our skin, at least. But the expense of it, quite expensive. Very expensive, as a matter of fact. Now, I know some people are like, is he making this stuff up? Go do the research. It's on there. I would love to be making this stuff up. And even if I were, biohacking is a thing. All right. It's the science of hacking the biology. All right. Think about this. People, I am not the first one to say, go put a chip in yourself so that you can easily pay for credit cards. I would not be that person. I don't like stuff being put in my body. No to the no, no, no. But if I were deaf and or mute, would I be willing to possibly have a chip enabled into my brain, be able to connect it so now I can hear differently? And when I say mute, well, look at one of the biggest people, smartest people that recently died. And he very mute, couldn't speak, but had a lot of great ideas. And he was open for the technology to be able to hear his voice. Don't believe me, look it up. There's a lot of science to be able to help people with disabilities to be able to get them to that next level. Even those that are currently blind, they have special technology out there to kind of get it to where they at least see in a certain way, connect with their part of the brain, which actually sees visual. And there's so many different technologies that are out there, and people are just desperate for the answer. And are we there already with science? Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think we are. And is it just being hit upon? Yeah. I say release some of that to give people inspiration to hope, right? To hold on to that for everybody. Give them hope. Get them, to the next step. Now, granted, I know that there's going to be people that are going to take advantage of that stuff and do a lot of harm than good. So are we ready for that? Maybe not. Maybe we need to be more peaceful, more loving, more kind before we're able to experiment on such stuff like that, right? But there you go. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you think? Let's see. Let's go to the social media chat room. I'm going to go up a little, see what you guys are talking about. Olga says, thanks for a great show. I appreciate you. Glad you enjoyed it. Let's see here. Gordon says, safety, yes, we're shutting down the country and finding people for not wearing a mask. No, that is not the right thing to do. I agree with that. I agree, Gordon. A, you can barely afford it. And B, let it be a warning. How about that? You know what? This is a warning. If you get a third warning, guess what? We're going to find you a total of, here's a face mask. Go wear it, right? I don't know. There are some people that are so irresponsible, but at the end of the day, you hope they're not part of your family members, right? Right? I mean, come on. Let's hey, Johnny, can you not be stupid when you go out? Thanks. Don't be that person in the room. Let's see. Gordon says, the right thing for you is not the right thing for others. Egypt is not locked down, and they have very low COVID deaths. Well, and again, some areas took the hard way to begin with first. And some areas were not exposed as much as other areas. True. If you want to talk about an area that doesn't have very high, I think we've already talked about it. I said you could have learned from that. They did a hard lockdown back in January, February, and part of March. Plus, they have the ability to track via everybody's phones to see who does have coronavirus to keep that person away from all the others. They implemented that very early on. Do we have something that we could learn from that? Yes. Did we learn from that at the very beginning? No. Can we go back to that maybe starting now? I say we could. But will people in the U.S. want to? No. Do you want to travel to areas where it's like much safer than not? I would think yes, but you still have to, self-quarantine before you get there. So there you go. I think there's some rich people going, you know what? I'm just going to leave the country and get to one of these nicer areas and then just, practice social distancing there for a bit. But look, are the majority going to be okay? Yes. Do you want to be the minority that does not get okay? No. If you look at some of the news stories, I saw one. I'm going to bring it up here because I can. I'm just going to let you guys see something which you may have not seen as of recently. Okay. I'm going to play a video here just to make you go, okay. And I'm going to do so a little bit differently than I have in past times. So if I get dinged on Facebook, oh well, too bad, so sad. All right, and I'm going to show you, stick with me, because there's this story that I think a lot of people need to see in order to say, oh, I don't want to be that guy. And it's a story about a patient, Carl Worden, and he's 57. All right, that's young. Says, I never realized how terrifying it is not being able to breathe. Actually, I'm going to just skip forward so I don't because I can see copyright information. And I'm going to show you the reason I needed my mom to see this, because sometimes she gets a little what's the word? Sad, not able to see my friends, not able to go out. Sucks. I go, but you're alive, Mom. Yeah, so try to make it as a-okay being at home than not, right? But this one particular patient got coronavirus, and I'm going to show you a picture you may not want to see, but for those of you that are, it's not a queasy one. It's just like oh wow. And here it is. All right, I'm gonna see the one on the left. That was his lung. A normal lung is on the one on the right. Now, Carl developed lung fibrosis. It's a complication due to his battle with COVID-19. Said he was left with no other choice. He said, quote, COVID-19 damaged my lungs so bad, I got to the point where there was no other option left but a lung transplant because my lungs were just going to get worse. He contracted COVID-19 earlier in the year, although he recovered from the virus itself. He became ill while traveling from South Carolina to Connecticut in June. On June 26, Worden was hospitalized in Hartford, but as his condition worsened, he was transferred to Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Sorry, I'm showing you the other stuff. According to this, Dr. Hari Malidi says there's only about 120 hospitals in the country that do lung transplants, so it's a very small number of hospitals. And it says when Carl arrived, we repeated some of the CAT scans, which confirmed the diagnoses that COVID-19 had done pretty extensive damage to his lungs. And his only treatment at that point was a lung transplant. They said to ABC News that the transplant was necessary if he was going to live. He said he would have ended up on a ventilator and gradually gotten worse and worse until there was basically nothing you could do to keep him alive. That was a lung system that it looked like psoriasis of the liver. Worden's now recovering and working to regain strength in his lungs. He was taken off the ventilator fairly quickly after the transplant. He's walking around the hospital even before he went to rehab. His appetite is coming back. And he said he has many things to be thankful for. He says, I'm thankful to the person I got the lungs from. Yeah. I'm thankful to the doctors that did the surgery. I'm thankful for my family because they were always there for me. And they had set up a GoFundMe account to help him with the medical expenses. How much that was, I don't know. I can't imagine it was cheap. And as he had mentioned, they had to break open his chest in order to get to both lungs. And he said this, I was a completely healthy person, nothing wrong with me. And look how COVID-19 affected me. People need to take it seriously because all they have to do is look at me. This was him before. With his daughter. This is him after. He's trying. Now, I'm not trying to be the buzzkill in the room. I'm simply trying to be the person that says, look, after this day, we still got to deal with coronavirus. Be safe out there. If you're meeting with friends or family, you don't want that to happen to one of them. All right. For those of you just tuning in, I'm going to show you his lungs due to COVID-19. And he got well, but he didn't know the half of it because they didn't do the research far enough into it. The left was his lung. That's a damaged lung. Is he thankful he got the help that he needed? Oh, yeah. Is his daughter thankful? Of course. Is his family thankful? Absolutely. Sad but true. It's a terrible life to live like that, right? You could get that at any given time, but COVID-19 does a really weird thing to the body. It exploits the weaknesses already there, and it complicates the issue by activating certain viruses. They're barely trying to understand what this does exactly. They don't want to make everybody go, what the what? But that's why there's certain people that are quite healthy or considered healthy, and all of a sudden they have a full-blown case in less than weeks. Does everybody get that with the lungs? No. But I would imagine maybe there's something they're missing. All right, people. So don't throw caution to the wind. That's number one. Okay. If that doesn't stick with you, I don't know what else is. If you have somebody out there that is that person, I don't believe it. Go show them that article. Okay. And you can search it. It's simple. Lung. Type in, what did I put in? If you forget it, I always put Google really quick. Lung COVID-19 patient. It'll come up. It'll be one of the first there. Here's another one. Coronavirus infected nurse endures months-long coma, gets double lung transplant. Here's another one. It's happening a lot lately. Says the nurse is feeling especially grateful this holiday season after recovering from a severe course that necessitated a double lung transplant. Wow, that's two. According to an Indiana-based outlet, 48-year-old Carrie Wegg spent the entire summer in a coma, woke up this fall to learn she needed a total repair on her lungs. It says Wegg works in Ascension St. Vincent Women's Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit. In her role, she treats critically ill newborns. In June, the coronavirus landed her among adults with some of the most threatening courses of COVID-19. Medical staff at St. Vincent supported Wegg with an artificial lung machine, also known as an EMO machine, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. It's considered a last resort therapy. It's a machine that essentially takes over for failing lungs. The next thing I knew, she says, I went from July to the end of September. And let me tell you, it was a trip missing the whole summer, waking up with a month missing. I'm having a hard time just breathing reading this article. It says, I woke up, asked my husband what happened. He told me COVID killed your lungs. Wegg's husband, Rodney, tested positive for coronavirus, though his bout was less severe. Wegg was sent to Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago, where surgeon Dr. Ankit Bharat and his team performed the procedure. Another surgeon, Dr. Sam Kim, said she was in terrible shape. While healthy lungs have a spongy nature, Kim said the lungs in these coronavirus patients stiffen and harden. To Wegg's fortune, doctors found a near-perfect match for a donor, and she underwent surgery on October 2nd. The recovery has been pretty tough. I'm often short of breath. My new lungs are still learning how to work with my body. Coronavirus doing some really terrible things to the body. All right, I'm going to show you a picture of her after a double lung transplant. She looks hopeful, and I'm glad to see her in good spirits. Here she is. All right, that's her. I don't want to show you what the lungs look like because that is just a little too much for the kids in the room. Trust me. So I'm not going to scroll down on that. But she was terribly, really bad. She looks good there, but I'm telling you, the process, not good at all. These are real stories, all right, people? These are real stories. These are people that I wish the president would watch these stories first before he starts making claims. Or, let's pardon a dumb turkey. How much time did that take? Probably an hour and a half, plus press, plus people. Like, let's focus on the lives of each people. Let's focus on the lives that are doctors and nurses. I read 3 articles of doctors dying because of COVID-19. You kill doctors with this? We already have a shortage. And if you don't believe me, the nurses are sadly not seeing their own families just so that their own families, because they know what's real. They just don't have the time to go out there and go, hey, people, look. But they have the stories going, yeah, I'm trying to stay away from my family to keep them safe. If I'm around coronavirus and I bring it home, I bring it to my family. I don't want to be that one. And yet you don't want them sick either. All right. So there you go. So just be careful out there. Mara says, I don't want to talk about COVID today. Sorry. It's here. We all need to stay safe anyway we can. That's the bottom line. And here's my point in sharing it, okay, people? I'm not here to bring down the room. I'm here to inspire the room. If you're alive, be grateful you're alive. If you're being safe than sorry, continue to be safe than sorry, right? We can't throw blinders on and say it's not around us. I often tell my mom, look, Mom, let's be positive, right? The way we be positive is this. We look forward to the future. We look forward to the end of this. We look forward, but we stay safe. We don't throw caution to the wind by saying, oh, okay, I'm going to just be that person in the room that says, whatever. I'm going to be the person in the room that says, you know what? I may not be the popular person in the room, but there's reality here, right? Whether you go shopping, whether you go out into the public, you're going to see people who go, whatever. You go, oh, man, I wouldn't want to be them or their family members, right? You got to be safe than sorry for yourself. So when I try to bring this stuff up, it's not to bring down the room. It's to bring up the room, to elevate your mind, to go, okay, I'm aware of it. How do I stay positive throughout it? You say this: I am going to fight for my right to live and those I love. We're going to fight together. We're going to be educated. We're going to be smart. And we're going to think, you know what? We got this. And then there's the science behind it, right? Look at the science in the event that you have somebody. Look, I can already tell you right now, if you were in the hospital and you ended up having your platelets fall significantly, look up this drug called Nplate. We have to learn from each other to be able to say, okay, how do I get through this significantly well? Right? Thank God the science is there somewhat. In other cases, it's not. Thank God there's transplant areas that have lung transplant areas. Thank God there are things that will help the majority of people eventually. But you have to be an advocate for yourself. So there you go. All right, people, I appreciate you. Look, in reality, no matter what you do or are in life, just remember, don't be the person in the room to say, oh, well, if this is my last way to go, this is the way I want to go. You don't want to go like that. That's why I show people. I show my mom. I go, Mom, watch this. She watches it. I go, Mom, that is not the way to be. In a ventilator and an ICU bed, even if you do get well, I can't visit you. Oh, yeah, that's right. And trust me, it's no fun. You want visitors. All right? That's what I tell her. Kind of put in a little. That way she does it, because I hear her on the flip side of that. I'm just bored. I'm just sad. No, she doesn't say the bored, but, I got nothing to do. Can't go out. Mom, don't worry. I'll bring you some stuff. Safe. Because I'm safe. So far, knock on wood, I haven't gotten coronavirus, right? But my sister did. Was it her fault? No. Was it the home's fault? That's why they're trying to be safe. All right. So look, my point is this. Be grateful. Be thankful. But if you got a dumb one in the room, educate that dumb one in the room. Okay? Seriously. Don't let that person be the person. Look, I said earlier, zombies, right? In the event of a zombie apocalypse, thank God they don't exist yet, right? I'm sure somebody's going to cook them up in a lab. But wouldn't you want people in your corner that think smarter, think better, and go, you know what? Who's that person in your life? Type it out. Who's the person in your life that is the one that you go, I can depend on this person, whether it be your mom, your dad, your cousin, your best friend. They're the person that you go, you know what? I've got their back and they got my back no matter what. If they get bit by a zombie, they're going to say, oh, by the way, I got bit by a zombie. You might want to take me out in about 24 hours when I suddenly start acting a little odd. You go, I don't want to be that person, but okay, I'll do it. No, you got to do it. Or we got to figure out the cure together. Okay, all right, right? How many movies you guys watch like that? I know my mom doesn't watch any of them, but Resident Evil, come on, think about it. There's some good zombie movies out there, right? So if you got to think like that of who do you want in your camp that are always going to be in your camp, that are the ones that you're going to want to always want to back you up. All right, I can think of 3 people that I would want in my camp that are very safe than sorry. And sadly enough, my mom, I'm getting her there, but I wouldn't trust her there because sometimes she believes the wrong people. And I'm like, Mom, no. I got to be the one to tell my mom, be careful out there. So sometimes you got to be that person for the other person, right? Anyway, there you go. All right. I wouldn't let her be the last person running. I'd be like, Mom, come on. So there you go. I'm not that person. I'm not that cold-hearted. I'm just saying there's some people in your camp that will keep you alive and others that just like, come on, don't believe the naysayers. Okay. So there you go. Be that person in your friend's life, and there you go. All right. All right, people. I love you. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same channel. Bye-bye, everyone.